I spoke there in a debate about the Qatar World Cup with Thomas Beattie. I think you know him.
Yeah, Thomas Beattie is one of my closest friends. I spent the summer with him at his place in Fort Lauderdale. So yeah, he's a very close friend of mine.
Yeah, he's such a nice guy and really powerful. His speech was really amazing.
Yeah, no, we are very close. He's a major role model to my life and to what I've done in my career. So yeah, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. So I'm very grateful for him.
Yeah, I was wondering how he might have inspired you, because he mentioned that he helped you a lot in your journey.
Yeah, so before I came out, I was speaking with Tom for quite some time. And we were speaking about what field I wanted to go down, whether I wanted to stop playing football and come out, whether I wanted to come out in football, because it was a pretty hard time for myself, that I hit a brick wall and I didn't want to continue this path of being a closeted footballer anymore. And he was just the light at the end of the tunnel with me. And he helped guide me into the right people, into the right space where I could be myself and become the Josh Cavallo of today.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously helped your personal development so much to be able to be comfortable with yourself and be able to talk about it openly. I was wondering as well, do you feel like it's changed your football at all to not have that kind of like mental stress on you? Do you feel like you've been able to perform better?
Yeah, definitely. Look, when I first came out, I told my two coaches at training, and I went and trained and had the best training session of my life. And that was only two people in the footballing world that I told. So it honestly felt like 30 kilos coming off my shoulder. It felt really good. So it did give me confidence to then tell the team, to then tell the world, to then tell my friends, and then come out in that video. And it definitely has an impact on my football. Like the easiest way I can explain it to you guys is that for like 24/7, you're with your team, they become like your family, and like you live in this constant battle of lying to them. And at the same time, you want to be their friends, but you don't want to get too close because you're not telling them the truth. And they're asking you questions about your personal life, but you don't want to tell them what's going on in your personal life because you're seeing a guy, you're not seeing a girl. And then it's just like, it becomes a little bit messy. And like, for example, I remember instances where I was having a drink break and they were asking me about like a date I went on with a girl, and I had to make stuff up like on the spot. And like I'm in training, having a training session, we're doing a drill, and I'm thinking about the conversation that I'm having with guys about girls while I'm performing professional football. So it's just this ongoing battle in your head that it's terrible to live. And that's something I lived for 7 years before coming out in the professional world. So yeah, it's definitely improves your development because you're allowed to focus on just entirely football, and it's just absolutely phenomenal to be able to do that today.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing that you made it to professional football with kind of that weight on your shoulders, because so much of it is about being close with the people around you and having that team spirit. And the fact that you managed to build that still and get to where you did, keeping that like behind you or within you is.
Yeah, I was in two other professional teams in Australia before coming to Adelaide United, and they were environments where I would definitely not come out, and I did not feel comfortable. I didn't feel comfortable to be myself and open up, and it became very isolating. And that's the process where, I was thinking, should I just go work a local job, and be myself and be happy and kind of thing. And then went to Adelaide United, and I saw the environment they had and how the coaches are and how they embrace everyone's individuality. And it actually gave me a spark to say, oh, it could be possible to be myself here and not get judged. It was the light at my end of the tunnel in that aspect. And it was really nice to see that there was a team that I fit in, and I knew if I'm coming out or coming out and being who I am, that they wouldn't treat me any differently. And I remember when I made the announcement in the change room, all the guys had tears in their eyes, and they were just like, Josh, we're so proud of you, but we're just so sad you couldn't tell us earlier, because all this time we've known you, we didn't know this side of you, and like you've been hiding this from us, and we just feel so bad you couldn't tell us. And it's hard because it's your own individual battle, and sometimes you're not ready to come out certain times, so it's hard to explain it to some people. But to know that they were there and they all gave me a big hug and the support I needed. And the best thing about it after that was like 2 minutes later, we were talking about football again. So it just showed that they didn't really care in a good way that I came out and I could be the person I am. They were just happy for me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess then the team, like having good people around you is such an important part of it. So you said you didn't really have that before. Did you feel like when you were coming up in football, did you feel like it would never be possible and you would just have to either keep it hidden or do something else?
Yeah, definitely. I thought when I was younger that I would come out after football. I would never come out in this game of football. I don't know why I looked at it as a weakness. It's just hard because you want to be the best of the best of the best in your game, and the best player you can possibly be. And I just looked at that as a weakness of me coming out and being who I am. And, at the end of the day, if two people in the street, or two guys or two girls are holding hands, no one would say anything. So I wanted to make that impact in football. What is the difference that there's two guys on the street holding their hands, or there's someone in football that's gay? There's no difference there. So you don't get to judge or treat me any differently, kind of thing. And it goes to show by how it's taken off and where my career's gone to after coming out, that it is possible and there is hope there. And like all the little kids now that are growing up that want to pick up a football and play, that might find themselves, that are gay, that are transgender, that might have that hope of looking at my story and saying, no, Josh Cavallo is doing it, so I can do it. So it was a bit difficult when I was younger because there was no one that could pave that way that I could look up to. There was Justin Fashanu that came out that unfortunately was suicidal after his coming out. So yeah, it was just hard to have that leader in that role, and I'm happy that I can do that for people now, that they can look up to that and say, hey, I want to be like this guy. Like, he's successful, he's playing football, he's a professional footballer at the top of his game, and he's gay as well, but who cares? Like, I can do the same thing. So that's the whole point of how I wanted to come out, not only for my help, but for people in the future.